I run this trail every morning, the same 6-mile loop along the river, and I could run it with my eyes closed. I know where the roots buckle up through the dirt and where the path narrows to a foot of crumbling shoulder above the water. I know the smell of it. The wet stone, the leaf rot, the cold green breath that comes off the river before the sun gets high enough to burn it away. This trail is the one place my head goes quiet, where there's nothing to do but breathe and watch my feet and let the miles take away whatever I carried in with me. The river runs on my left. The hills rise close on both sides, steep and green, so the trail sits down in a seam between them, and in the early light the sun comes in slantwise over the eastern ridge and lays gold across the water. It is, most mornings, the most beautiful thing I will see all day. I am somewhere past the second mile when I see the first one. A shadow on the ridge to my right, up at the tree line where the open slope goes to dense black timber. A shape, dark against the brightening sky, standing among the trunks. I slow down for half a step watching it, waiting for it to resolve into a deer come down the water, or a hiker, or a stump I have passed 100 times and never once noticed. It doesn't move. It is still standing there when the trail bends and carries it out of sight. A deer, I think, and I keep running. But when the ridge comes back into view, there are two, the first one where it was, and a second farther along. And the strange thing is that neither of them moves the way a deer moves. They stand. Deer don't stand and watch you, not for long, not without that flick of the tail and the bound into cover. These just hold. Two dark vertical marks among the verticals of the trees, facing down into the seam of the trail, facing me. I don't know what they are. I only know that I don't like the feeling seeing them leaves between my shoulder blades, so I face front again and run. By the third mile, there are more, and they keep coming. I count them without meaning to. 2 becomes 5, 5 becomes a dozen. They aren't only on the right ridge now, they're on the left, too, standing along the high ground on both sides of me, spaced out at the tree line like fence posts, and not one of them has taken a single step, or whatever they do. They don't move. They only multiply. Every time the tree's thin enough to show me the ridgeline, there are more of them than there were before, as if for each one I manage to count, another has risen up out of the timber to stand beside it. I can't make them into anything. That is the part that crawls under my skin. Not that they're there, but that I can't turn them into hikers or hunters or stumps or the long thin shadows of morning trees. I can't give them a shape that lets me stop looking. I tell myself it's the light, I tell myself I'm tired. The explanations get thinner the more I need them. I keep my eyes down, I run a little faster. And that's when the trail does the thing it has never done. It opens. Where there should be the long, straight run out to the footbridge, and I know this stretch. I have run it 400 times. It is a half-mile tunnel of alder. There is instead a clearing, a grove, ringed all the way around by forest, so dense and black it looks woven, packed too tight for someone to pass through. And in the middle of the grove stands a ring of stones, gray and lichened and old, taller than me. Inside that ring is a single flat stone, broad and waist-high, worn smooth on top. I stop so hard my shoes skid in the grit. I stand at the edge of it with my heart slamming, trying and failing to make it into anything other than what it is. This is not on the map. This is not on the trail. This has never been here. I look up at the ridges to get my bearings, to find the standing shapes, to prove to myself that there are hikers, witnesses, other people somewhere in the world. The ridges are empty. Every one of them gone. The whole high line of dark shapes on both sides vanished, and the wrongness of it drops into my stomach colder than anything I have felt all morning. I have the sudden, certain, reasonless sense that they have come down, that the high ground emptied because it spilled itself down here, toward me. And I don't know why they would, and I don't know why I am so sure that they have. I only know that I am. I'm done. I don't care what this is. I turn around and go back the way I came, back toward the second mile and the parking lot and my car and the ordinary stupid Tuesday I was supposed to be having. There they are, standing across the mouth of the grove, across the only gap in that woven black wall between me and the trail home. I back up. I don't decide to do it. My body does it for me. A a stumble backward, away from them, and the backward step carries me into the middle of the stones, into the center of the sanctuary? Why do I call it that? Which I understand now is exactly where they want me, and exactly where I'm going. They come out of the trees on every side, not fast. They don't need to be fast. They press out of that impossible, dense forest the way dark water comes up through sand. More of them, and then more, filling the ring, and now that they are close, I can see them, and I wish that I couldn't. Black cloaks, down to the ground, faceless, or at least the faces are hidden by shadow, and on every head a crown. But each one is different, and each one comes from the woods, just like these things, these people, these whatever they are. Crowns of dead branches, gray and forked, crowns woven from the small bones of birds, the hollow wing bones and the little skulls, crowns of the jaws and ribs of small animals bound with root and vine, here and there a tuft of fur or a feather still clinging to them, dozens of them now, ringing me, every head wearing its own small, terrible reliquary of the dead. I want to scream. I want to run. I want to wake up. I turn around on instinct to run, knees first into the stone. Pain shoots up my leg and through my face as my knee collides with the rock and my skull bounces off the sacrilegious altar. I look up. The forest in front of me parts, and a last figure steps through, taller than all the rest, its cloak dragging on the ground behind it, and on its head, rising wide and pale against the black trees, a crown of antlers.